Next morning, last night, I still drove to Key Largo, which this is, and I slept in a nice neighborhood, quaint. I just went there to kind of, see one of the keys, because Key West would be another hour or so, or even more, down on the key chain. Look at this beautiful tree. I deliberated going to another state park, like Coral Reef State Park. It looks beautiful on the pictures, but I don't think I can make it worth it, because there's like, a nice beach and you would have to snorkel and everything. There are mangrove everywhere, but yeah, right now I'm on my way to the Everglades National Park. I also have to wash my clothes, or some of them, because I do not want to walk around in any of these t-shirts when I'm traveling. Like when I'm on the airplane, in the airport. Yeah, I gotta figure something out, because there's no sun, nothing bright. Then I also have to drive back up, I don't know, 6 hours or so, or 7. So that's gonna be the rest of my day today or yesterday. Like right here, it's the first time where I have actually had a lot of mosquitoes swarming me. Pretty weird that I didn't have any further up. Salty. Oh, I'm sorry if the wind is making me not understandable. I am at the end, at the tip of the Glades National Park road. This is the Gulf. There's pretty much nobody here, maybe because of the weather. And now my plan is to go through all the different vegetation zones from the bottom to the top. So now I'm going to enter the coastal prairie. Now though, the mosquitoes and other flies. Whew. Having a sleep deficit also has advantages, I must say, because I could just take a nap through this heavy rain shower right now. Wow. So this is the freshwater prairie, and what you see here on the ground, this yellow stuff, that is peripython or peripython, which is an alga that just floats on the water surface in the summer months, and it's being grazed off by fish and other stuff like insects. And now I am entering the hammock, a mahogany hammock. By the way, these fruits here, those are something plums, and they are mildly hallucinogenic, apparently. I don't know whether I want to try that today. Yeah, so a hammock is just basically a little tree island, slightly elevated. Around these hammocks there is a moat because of the acids that come from the trees, like from the decomposing foliage. It runs off and it erodes the underlying limestone that this hammock is basically built on. And just like that, it feels like totally in a rainforest. And that right there is a mahogany tree. And this behind me is a strangler fig with its host tree. So at first a fig seed is being placed by a bird or something on top of a tree, and then the air roots grow down into the ground, and these roots become thicker and thicker, and they envelop the host tree. So the tree that you can see here, that bright thing, that is the fig, and underneath the darker bark, that is the host tree. Then in the end, after, I'm not sure, years, decades, the host tree just gets strangled, as the name suggests, and dies off, while the fig has become so strong that it can stand on its own. And it's just a skeleton basically around what was a host tree. It's one of these classic stories that you hear in basically every nature documentary about the rainforest where these stranglefish occur. Still nice telling it. And yet, just another few miles more inland I am in the pine forest again. And this is one of the most varied, most diverse ecosystems here, where a lot of things overlap, and that's where a lot of plant species come in, and with it also a lot of animals. Like this acacia here, and some cacti, wow, a lot of flowers. Reminds me of the quite also diverse pine habitats and dry grass areas in Germany that have the highest species diversity of basically anything, but mostly flowering plants and insects. And now we are entering a hardwood hammock again. As you can see behind me, there are the trees, and to my right behind me now, there's just hardwoods, and it looks like rainforest again. And all of these pine trees, they could become hardwood hammocks if it were not for the fires that rave here through periodically, and that just replace all this hardwood here with open space. And these pine trees, they are really adapted to the fires, and they can only thrive when it has fires, so that their seedlings can have enough light to grow. And I'm not sure whether their seeds also need the heat in order to open up and sprout at all. Quite fascinating. So this is what the freshwater grass prairie looks from up close. Now that I'm walking on this trail, it's all just water, and how you know it probably from pictures or videos, or if you yourself have been there. That's where all the wildlife is happening, and the gators and snakes and all the introduced species. Oh, there's a turtle. It's a striped turtle, so that means it's not native, unfortunately. Speaking of turtles though, a minute ago I just saw a snapping turtle snap for air, but you know, the next second it was already gone again. But yeah, it was pretty big. There's always something happening here. Well, hello there. This honestly feels more like a wildlife park or like a zoo of some sort, rather than like actual nature. Because you just see so much around here, and it's so exotic. It's amazing. So many fish. Morning. I'm just going to give you a quick little update about what happened yesterday on my last morning here. I am now an hour about away from Orlando, and yesterday on the way up here it rained like crazy, and I could only go like 50 or less on the highway, because otherwise it would just, you know, be drifting off the highway. And then this Hyundai smaller like sportier car just whizzed by me. I'm like, how do they have traction with their tires? And then sure enough, 5 minutes later I see them on the side, like driving back from the grass onto the highway. Apparently nobody heard, but yeah, I told them so, if I would have. Then later my phone also died, so I could only take pictures of this great place where I went to eat. It was a great like sports bar, and they had a trivia going on, which was kind of nice. I had some fried gator tail bites. They tasted like really tough cod, I would say. It was rather expensive for that, but no, I know. I like having the experience. Oh, I forgot, after the rain, my check engine light also turned on, and I could only go 60 miles, or 61 miles, because it's 100 kilometers. Apparently the car is European. So now I hope that I won't have too much traffic into Orlando, and that I can get on my flight. And I'm back in the 110 degree, 44 degree Tucson heat. It doesn't feel that hot though, honestly. It's nice. And I just completed my last Uber trip with someone who was born in Kingston Town, Jamaica. I had a really interesting talk with him as well. And that concludes it, I guess. Oh, it's really nice. See you in the next video. Bye.